Gloves Off, Tough Talk Sports Podcast with Christopher R. and Dani. Talking tough on sports, martial arts, and anything in between. Dani, World Martial Arts Hall of Famer, NFL expert, and New York Football Giants fanatic. Christopher R., businessman, promoter, retired flag football athlete, and boxing aficionado. Sit down and throw down. Gloves Off, Tough Talk with Christopher R. and Dani. Gloves Off Tough Talk Sports Podcast, presented by the See You at 6 Network.
Hello again. Thank you for joining us for the See You at 6 Network podcast, the Gloves Off segment with Dani. Today we're going to do some follow-up on what's going on with the football today and before the actual Super Bowl, get some predictions. And I want to jump right in, Dani. I want to see what your thinking is here on Kansas City Chiefs, how the big game is going to play out.
Oh, Kansas City. They were pretty cool. They were pretty good. I was impressed.
Very impressed.
Carlos was wrong.
Are we talking about Carlos, your dog again? The
Yeah,
Yorkie?
Carlos, my little Yorkie.
Okay.
He thought Tennessee was going to take this one. Tennessee Titans, he was 100% behind the Tennessee Titans.
How does he make this pick?
He
touches
usually either touches the helmet or he
Okay.
puts his paws up and high fives me when I say the team. He thought Kansas City was going to lose, and he was all for Tennessee, but he was wrong this go around. So sorry, baby. Sorry, Carlos.
Okay, so let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, so you want to go to San Francisco?
I want to go to San Francisco
All right, let's go,
because
'cause
he
picked
threw 8 passes. I
He
mean,
picked San Francisco on this one. He had 8 passes on this one. But once again, let's not get too caught up in the 8 pass thing, which everybody's freaking out about. You know, that Garoppolo only did 8 passes and he attempted just 27 passes in his first championship appearance overall, with that running game and everything else, and with their defense, I mean, 8 passes, are we really all that worried? I mean, overall, it was 37-20. I mean, they made Aaron Rodgers, no offense, Aaron, look like a chump. So are we all that worried about it? I'm not really to quote Kyle Shanahan, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think they looked really good. I think the 49ers are going to put up a good showing. I'm picking the 49ers on this one.
to win?
I think, yeah. I'm going to go with Carlos. I'm going to go with my Yorkie on this one. I think the 49ers are going to take it. I think that Raheem Mostert was the big standout. He was the running back. He had over 200 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. Overall, Raheem was the big Cinderella story of the playoffs. He came in. He was
200
dropped.
rush yards.
200 rush yards.
Impressive.
He was just behind Eric Dickerson and some other legends when it comes to running backs, but he looked incredible. He was dropped by 6 teams.
7, I believe.
7 teams over 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And he kept actually the day he was dropped in his phone, in his notes. Just as, a little fuel to the fire until he got to the 49ers. What's really interesting was Shanahan kept him. So he was, when Shanahan came in and cleaned house, he was one of the guys that he kept, which, considering he had no real stats, hadn't really done anything, you kind of question why he chose to keep him. But he saw something interesting in him and said, you know what, I'm going to keep him, and let's just see what he does. So he kept him, and you know what, I think overall it proved to be something. You keep him, and then you got your fearsome foursome, or as I like to call them, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You got Bosa, Buckner, Ford, and Armstead. Those 4 guys up front, that pass rush, as much as KC is something to really worry about, they have not faced a pass rush like these guys.
Armstead had 10 sacks.
They had 10 sacks. Bosa's 9, Buckner's 7.5, and Ford's 6.5. Made them the only team in the NFL with 4 more players to have 6.5 sacks or more in the 2019 regular season.
Wow!
So I really do think that these guys are the 4 horsemen. There's something. There's something to be reckoned with. So I think Steve Spagnuolo is really going to have to think about what to do and how KC is going to overall handle it. How Andy Reid is going to have to think about what to do with the 49ers pass rush. That's
30.2 points per game. That's impressive.
The Niners are averaging that. So if you want to sit here and say, well, he only threw 8 passes. Okay, he only threw 8 passes. Garoppolo only threw 8. I think, though, knowing how Shanahan is and how he's kind of looking to retool the offense, I have a weird feeling, and this is just my opinion, I think we might see a different look to the offense for the Super Bowl. I think Garoppolo is going to throw more.
Yeah.
I think this was just lull everybody into a false sense of security, and I think we're going to see something different.
I tend to agree with you. They're going to need to do that.
They're going to need it, but I think this was all about...
It's something I believe that they have in their arsenal to do, because
yes.
Mahomes is going to be someone they really got to keep contained.
Yes.
And instead of letting him just step up in that pocket or move around in that pocket, they need to get him contained to one and attack him direct. Am I right in saying that? Come straight at him, but don't let them create that lane for him.
Mahomes can do so much. I mean, especially with Tyreek Hill. I mean, Mahomes, the thing with Mahomes is those damn eyes. I mean, he can be looking over here and throw over there, and you just don't know. I mean, the game that he played against the Titans was literally a lesson in surgical passing.
Yes.
It was just,
I agree.
It was incredible. And then the scramble before the end of the half, he's just all over the place. But I've said this before, and I do believe this about Mahomes. I think he likes being down in the first quarter. I think because that way he gets to see how an offense plays. He likes to sit back and just watch you a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I do believe he's much like the movie The Predator. He just sits and watches you. He observes. And then he figures out your weaknesses, and he goes back and reports right back, because Mahomes, one thing about Mahomes is he gets right in the face of the defense, and he likes to share that information. Yeah. So if he gets to sit back and watch, he's going to come right back and be like, look, this is what they're doing. This is what we need to do. He shares it. He's very generous, and in that sense, he does remind me of Eli. He's generous with that information, and I think he then starts to strategize and devise a plan. And before too long, he's picking everything apart. So I think he enjoys to watch the offense, let them think, you're on a roll. Yep, you're picking us apart. Yeah, that's fine. And then he goes in there.
Well, he made that
figures it out.
Obvious, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He made that obvious for such a young guy and such minimal experience in the game. He is a natural. He's going to be one of the great ones all the way through.
Smart. I mean, he went 23 for 35. 294 yards. I mean, technically, 294 yards for Mahomes, that's actually small. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not a 330, 340 yard game for him. I mean, when you think about it for Mahomes, you're kind of looking back, going, well, okay, that's not a gigantic game for him, but still, it was just enough. He's one of those guys who does not play down to his competition. Mahomes likes to figure out where the bar is, and then he surpasses it. So while I think San Fran might take this, it's not going to be a blowout by any stretch.
No,
not at all.
I agree with you on that one. But this running he's doing, what's your feeling on that? I mean, he's taking such chances.
He's a little smarter than Lamar.
He moves very well, but...
He does move well, but he doesn't. Lamar Jackson, the difference between Lamar, I think, and Patrick Mahomes is if you see Lamar puts it all on his shoulders and he runs regardless.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes waits and he picks when he should do it. So I think there's a difference. He waits for his lane.
Yeah.
He runs a little. He doesn't take those 3-4 yards back to go forward. He does run, he tiptoes. I mean, that one where he was tiptoeing that line, and I still couldn't believe he was in bounds.
Yeah.
Very different, but he does wait for his lanes. He doesn't take unnecessary chances. He won't put his own health out there because he knows he still has to lead the team. So I think there's a little bit different. The one guy I think we need to watch will be Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. Mm-hmm. I think that if they can figure out, because it's going to be up to him to stop the run game, to stop those short passes with Garoppolo.
Yeah.
It's going to be up to the Honey Badger. I think if they put him in zone, they really check him out, he's going to be the deciding factor. I think he could be the X factor in all of this from an interception standpoint. I think Honey Badger is going to be the one to watch. On the opposite side, I think Richard Sherman for the 49ers. He's going to be the other guy. So I think from a defensive standpoint, you're looking at the Honey Badger. He could really turn it around. And I don't think you can ever count out Richard Sherman because his leadership and his just sheer force of will from Richard Sherman, he has got a chip on his shoulder. I think he's walking around with a cement block right now. He got something to prove. And when you think about it, Richard Sherman and Aaron Rodgers have the exact same amount of Super Bowl rings, one each.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So if Richard Sherman can get another one and kind of rub it in everybody's face that he got two, especially after getting paid, more power to you, Sherman.
Yeah, more
Go
power
for
to
it,
you.
babe. I think you deserve it out of everybody. I think you deserve another ring. I think he needs it. He's a very intelligent player. I think Sherman can get it, so I say go for it. But just don't count the honey badger out because he's another one. And Spags had his eye on him
Yeah.
when he was defensive coordinator at the Giants. He really wanted Tyrann Mathieu to head over that way. So I think he enjoys working with him a lot. And I know that when he did come over to KC and Matthews was there with him, they finally got together, he hugged him. And even after this game, he hugged him a lot because he felt that he put it really all out there. So I think it'll be a very interesting matchup between the two of them. And we'll see where it goes.
Well, getting back to Mahomes, I mean, the thing it does now is it changes up the whole dynamics because they know he can run. So,
yes.
So that really is going to change everything because now when he's flooding to one side, I mean, it's open game for him just to take off. And
the speed.
The speed.
It's just the speed of that offense.
Yeah, the speed going out. And
Tyreek Hill's name is the Cheetah. I mean, you almost have an Olympic speed for offense on that side between Mahomes and him.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous the amount of speed you have on that. So I think that I think San Francisco has their work cut out for them. But once again, they have not faced a pass rush like these four guys. So I think Mahomes is not going to have the time that he has to play a lot of his games. So
and you know they're going to close those lanes down. They're not going to let him. He's not going to be stepping up the way. It was too easy, actually, from what I was watching.
He also has not faced some of the cornerbacks that he's, Richard Sherman is not your average cornerback. He's one of the best to play who's played the game in that position.
Yeah.
You've got some other worldly talent out there that he is not, that I don't think Mahomes is really, he's faced some good cornerbacks, don't get me wrong. He's faced some good ones. But with the chip on the shoulder he's got right now to prove that, that's a little different. I mean, look at that interception Aaron Rodgers threw at the end. He threw it right in. I mean, Sherman, it was right in his breadbasket.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a game where I think it's really going to come down to penalties. Who makes the least amount of penalties? Yeah. It's going to come down to that. And I think it's going to come down to sheer force of will. I think field goal will come down to it. It's going to be a three thing. And I think safeties. We could see something like we did with the Giants where it's that safety move where those 2 points make a difference. It's not going to be a blowout.
But those points will win a game.
That will make a difference. It definitely will make a difference.
Yeah,
so we'll
definitely
have to
can't afford to lose those.
We'll have to see. But I mean, right now Mahomes has got a 62.7% of his completion for his throws.
Yeah,
for
11 touchdowns.
Yeah, no interceptions.
No interceptions, very impressive.
And he's got a quarterback rating of
115.
Yeah, so
greatest in playoff history
for a quarterback.
Wow.
And the Chiefs have not been back to the Super Bowl in 50 years, as everybody's telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes just that alone will fuel a team.
Of course, without a doubt. But getting back to what you said before, what Mahomes does is he may like to be down, but you know it as well as I do when you're up. They know they can try different things. Mm-hmm. What I like about Mahomes is when he's down, he actually does study what do I have to do different.
Yes.
And what's going to make the difference. That's why he makes some of those runs, I believe, the way he finds that. Because he teaches that defense, you're going to have to watch me a little more.
Oh, yes.
And it's a smart move when you're that young and you can move like that. You see that hip movement he's got?
Oh, and considering the dislocation of the kneecap, I mean, you would never know he's been injured. You would never know. He's tricky. He's tricky.
But to that point, with that kneecap injury, you would think he wouldn't take those chances. But he's young.
He's young.
He's not as experienced.
but I think he rehabbed it properly.
Okay.
I do think he rehabbed it
No
properly.
reason to get hurt, though, and be out of a game, right?
Nah, he's putting it all on the field.
He is, and that's what I mean
He's
by
a warrior.
young and aggressive. A warrior.
He's a warrior.
He's
a warrior.
It's in your blood when you're young and you can do it. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
He's a warrior, and I think it'll be interesting to see him go up against Garoppolo, who sat behind Brady. Let's not forget, Garoppolo sat behind Brady.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about Brady, we all know what I think about Brady. He had to have learned something
absolutely.
from sitting behind that type of competitor
Yeah.
and being with Belichick.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see that composure, because I have to say Garoppolo held his own. Composure-wise, he held his own. And he's been very cool. I mean, Garoppolo
He's pretty
has,
smooth.
and he has weapons to spare.
You know, when
In his tight ends, in his wide receiver. He has weapons. But you never saw him get flustered.
that's what I meant. He's pretty cool. And you know what? Coming from the Patriots, that's going to be a natural thing anyway, because you work so hard there.
The discipline is there.
Yeah.
And Shanahan doesn't take any crap.
No.
Either. He comes from a coaching legacy, a coaching family. So he's not going to take take any crap himself. So what do you expect? I mean, you've got Andy Reid, who, is one of the best. I put him in the top 5 coaches. And then you've got Garoppolo coming from all of this with Shanahan and that legacy. So I think that we're in for a great game. If it can't be the Giants, which it should always be the Giants. But that's besides the point. I think we're in for
I think this
something.
is going to be an amazing Super Bowl, because
It won't be as boring as it was last year.
It won't be. And there's, how do we know, really, if you put these two quarterbacks against each other with the guns that they have out there, it's going to be And we don't even know what they have in their arsenal that they haven't shown.
And I think that's key. I think that's a big difference.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see something, because I think regardless of what Andy Reid likes, and he's
Sure.
Andy Reid has a certain tradition about him. You've got Patrick Mahomes, who is the furthest thing from tradition.
Yeah.
And then Garoppolo, and you've got Shanahan, and he's been switching things up, and he's showing you different things with the tight end, with everything that's there. I think you're bound to see something. And let's face it, like, nobody saw Raheem Mostert coming.
Yeah.
Nobody saw him coming from a
saw
mile
him.
away.
Right.
And all of a sudden, boom, there he is. Yeah. So I think we're going to see something different. Definitely.
Well, I will be in actually,
You'll be
I'll be down that way on business for the Super Bowl. And I look forward to hearing your input.
You'll be hearing me screaming from a mile away, I'm sure.
I'm sure I'll be seeing it in text. Okay, Danielle's, Carlos is right. All right, let's move on, because that'll be a great wrap up. Talk about that on another episode after the Super Bowl, because the dynamics of what we're talking about now will resonate when we actually physically see what happens. I actually want to jump into Giants coaching staff. I wanted to talk to you about the offensive coordinator and see what your thoughts are. I know we did an episode before with a Cowboys fan.
But we had a lot of people kind of chiming in here and there. Yeah.
You and Rob, I got to say, were impressive as Giants, bleeding blue Giants fans.
Bleed blue.
That was really impressive. The way you two, I couldn't stop. I couldn't.
No, you weren't
close your lips. So I was glad I bought a Cowboys fan, and just to kind of shut you up, but it didn't seem to work.
No. But he was nice.
Let's pick. But he was nice. Let's pick up where we left off with that, the idea of Jason Garrett coming to the Cowboys. I know Mike, the Cowboys fan, said, he couldn't do anything for us. What do you think he's going to do for you? I find that untrue, because he's going from head coach to doing something that maybe that'll really help.
I think it funnels him a little bit. I think,
wasn't he a Giant?
Yes, he was a backup quarterback.
Okay.
He has season tickets to the Giants.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying.
Season tickets, and he's the Cowboys coach.
But his family's a Giants fan. But,
all right, well that's huge.
I mean,
his
record also was 85. He had an 85-67 record with the Cowboys. So, look, regardless of what you think of Jason Garrett, he's not coming to us in a head coaching role.
Yeah.
So he's coming as the
Yeah.
offensive coordinator. So you've taken his responsibilities from here and taken him to here. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Do I think he's going to give us, a Sean McVay offense? No. We're not going to get like this crazy new scheme. But with a rookie quarterback and us still trying to figure out our identity, I think this is good for us. I also think it's good for Judge, our new head coach, because now he's got somebody who's been in that position and also been in a high caliber market.
Yeah.
Dallas is a football town.
Right.
New York is not exactly easy, as even Eli has said.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably good for Judge to kind of have somebody to lean on a little bit, knowing what it's been like to be a new head coach too. So overall, I'm not upset with this.
Okay, good.
With this pick. I think it'll be good, and I think he could be bringing people over. He's already brought over Mark Colombo,
Okay.
the offensive line coach, and as much as I don't want to admit it, let's face it,
Another Cowboys.
Dallas had a great offensive line.
Their line, they were the best, weren't they?
They were one of the best.
And
So
how did this happen? How did we get Mark Colombo?
He followed Garrett.
That's how it works.
And, Mark Colombo was also a player, too,
Yeah.
for the Bears. So I like when
Good.
players move on to coaching because they understand what it's
Agreed.
like to be a player. They tend to have
Sure.
more empathy.
Empathy.
So
yeah.
I'm not going to, I'm not going to bitch about that. So we've taken the offensive line coach. Once again, now you've got the offensive coordinator, the
Yeah.
offensive line coach.
Yeah.
We all work together. I'm happy with that. Not going to bitch. The one move that I don't quite get, Dolphins.
Okay.
Okay, Patrick Graham, the defense coordinator. Somebody's going to have to explain this because this is either going to be a train wreck or genius. The jury's out on this one
Okay.
because let's face it, let's look at the Dolphins. I mean, really? The Dolphins? I can't think of one thing they did that I was like, oh, go Dolphins, besides beat the Patriots in their last game. Okay.
That's
that was
huge.
It. Well, we're always happy when the Patriots get beat. I mean, let's face that. But overall, the only thing is that, Judge knows him. There's some chemistry
I noticed
there.
you skipped over that the Dolphins did beat Eli.
Well, no, we beat the Dolphins in the last game, and then the Dolphins went on to beat the Patriots.
And then they beat the Patriots.
Yeah, so yay.
Okay.
But
I love getting her going.
It's not like
Especially
you
when
can
I get her
say-
speechless.
No, that doesn't happen often. There's nothing you can say about the Dolphins' defense this year where you were like, oh, they were really good at that.
Yeah.
Production-wise, I can't say there was much there. So I question Judge on why he
Okay.
picked this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Jerry Shaplensky, I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me if I didn't get it right. Quarterback's coach. Everybody reviewed him and said it was like the greatest move ever. Dan
Okay.
Marino even came out and said
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
a great move for Jones. So he's worked with Jimmy G. He's worked with Jacoby Brissett, Tom Brady.
Right.
He's worked with everybody, and apparently he's the belle of the ball. Okay, cool. He's got to work on ball security for Jones. My thoughts on Jones and ball security is one, okay, that's a rookie mistake. Like, they all make that mistake. Part of it, I think, is he's trying to show I'm not Eli. Because everybody looked at him and said, he's a mini Eli.
Okay.
So
Which
what
he's
are you going
definitely
to...
not.
Right, so how are you going to make yourself different than Eli? I'm going to run because, let's face it, Eli don't run. We all know that.
Right.
So the biggest thing you can do is be mobile. So I think
Yeah.
some of his fumbles and
Yeah.
the ball security issue came from him trying to run and prove, I have mobility. So I applaud you, Jones. I totally applaud you. Good job.
It's not really the name of the game.
But
right?
we're gonna hold it. Danny Dimes. I hate the nickname Danny Dimes. I'm sorry, but I do. We gotta find something better than that, Mr. Jones. Like me and Mr. Jones, we could find something better than that. But Danny Dimes, I don't get it. So I think we can work better with that.
Yeah.
The running backs, Burton Burns. Everybody says he's great. He comes from Alabama. He's got a relationship with Judge.
Yeah.
Once again,
Well,
cool.
that's always helpful.
Freddie Kitchens, Lord help me on this one. Freddie Kitchens, really? Cleveland Browns Kitchens. explain this to me. The man who actually made Baker Mayfield regress, we're picking him up?
So they don't give you any.
Why?
They don't give you any input on that, huh?
No, somebody should really call me from the Giants
Well,
organization
who's
because I
he
would set all this crap straight. There's rumors that he's tight ends. Then I've heard assistant offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Offensive coordinator. Once again, did you see what Mayfield did? Why? Okay. Why again? I don't understand that. Kitchens needs to go somewhere and just cool off for a while. You ever hear too many cooks in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing here. Don't understand that at all. There's a million other people I could think of, but that's not necessary. So I don't understand
All right,
that.
I think you've covered the Giants coaching staff pretty well. What do you feel about these rumors about Jason Witten? Is he coming aboard or not? I think
I've heard that he is. I've heard that it's a possibility. I think Witten wants to stay a Cowboy.
I think he should stay right where he is, don't you?
I think he'd be good for Evan Ingram, but Evan Ingram, we don't know what we're doing with Evan Ingram. He just had foot surgery. I think it's very cute that he wheeled himself in for Eli's, speech. Adorable. Evan Ingram has a ton of potential, but he's another one who, he breaks like a China doll.
Pretty good season with the Cowboys.
Witten had a great, all things considered, he came out of the broadcast booth.
63 catches. Yeah,
I think he did. Stay a Cowboy. Stay a Cowboy. It's cute, but once again, stay a Cowboy, honey.
Yeah, because what more does he need to prove to go
a ring
to a different? Well,
he wants a ring.
I don't think,
honey bunch, you ain't getting it here. Yeah. I'd love to tell you, come to New York and you'll get one. We're about 2 years away. Okay, seriously, we're about a good 2 years away. Because this year, if we're lucky, we're a wild card. If we're lucky, because let's face it, it's the NFC East. Ain't much going on here. Not right now. The Skins, my cousin's a huge Skins fan. Cheryl, forgive me for this. They ain't doing crap. We know that. The Eagles, nothing happening there either. And the Cowboys, they'll give us a run. But that's it. Nobody else, we ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, no,
so
it's
stay where you are, babe. You're fine.
It's building season, right? It's
a rebuild
and see what the season looks like to see for the next season. That's
it's
basically how it works. And
like I said, if we're lucky, we'll hit the.
As long as it's interesting and it's exciting. And it keeps the emotion, keeps you watching, going to the games is
I'm
even
always
nice.
Going to watch.
It's that the stands are full, it's...
Look, I never...
Helps the salaries.
The true fans, we never abandon them. If you've made it through the Dave Brown years, you're going to hang in for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, let's face it. I know someone that's diehard Dolphins fan, and, you kind of got to feel bad for him, but...
Could be a Jets fan, could be worse.
Jets fans, so... Jets fans are hurting. But the dedications, you're not going to jump.
No, you don't jump ship.
So an exciting season would be really nice to see.
Just every
and
now
who
and
we're
then.
going after next year.
Well, yeah.
The winner of
who
that.
we're going to chase. Chase for the ring.
What's this you were saying about Rhett Ellison?
We're not sure. He's the veteran. We're probably going to hit the salary cap with him, so I'm not really sure he's tight end. We have not seen a tight end. I think Evan Ingram has a lot of potential. I don't know what we're doing with the tight ends. That's a position that, to be honest, it's just been in flux with us for a while. We really have to figure it out, but we have so many other needs, like our whole offensive line, to figure out. Before we get into that, we still have to figure out our cornerbacks. We let Janoris Jenkins go. We got rid of Eli Apple. There's a lot of rebuilding to do, but I would think our offensive line should really be our priority than our pass rush.
Okay.
There's a lot.
We're gonna see what happens, and we'll watch your predictions. Because more importantly, the fact that that's business, they're going to rebuild. They got to rebuild. They got to change things up. I like that when in competition you bring in the Cowboys, some of the Cowboys coordinators. I just like that. Especially when you tell me Garrett is a diehard Giants. Well, he has season tickets. I think that's cool that he's coming there because, let's face it, there was nothing more he could do for the Cowboys.
Well, he never brought him to the big game, and that's
what I'm saying.
Jones's big.
It's
that's what Jones
8
wanted.
years. It's time to move on. Time to
But
do
in 8
something
years,
else.
he also developed
Don't you agree?
Dak Prescott, Zeke. So he did do some good things.
All right, but what I was getting at is more importantly, the news this week and what you see is the retirement of Eli. I mean, that touches the heart.
It does.
With everybody.
It does.
And I apologize being a Giants fan, not knowing all the stats because I'm so busy into everything, not knowing his legendary status.
Yeah, and there's some people who
and,
still argue he's not a first ballot, but I believe he is. And
hey, look, if people are going to argue,
always gonna argue
there's going to
this.
be always going to be some kind of, let's say, politics in some. I mean,
Yes.
you look at
Jeter.
Jeter. I mean, he couldn't get any unanimous. I think it was one, didn't
Well,
he?
even Eli made a
me a
point
break.
of that in his speech. He said, "I'm still trying to figure out who, out of all you guys, who didn't vote for him."
Who didn't vote for him? Yeah. And
come
come forward, let it out, tell us what it is, so for future you can actually know what it is that makes someone think like that. We can't touch what people think in politics because that's their emotional beliefs, their personal beliefs,
This is
it's their
sports,
upbringing.
though.
You would think. You would
This is
think, but
sports. Come on.
it just blew me away. And
Blew Eli away too, apparently.
yeah, now that I've really seen the real Eli without the helmet on and walking with his kids,
You saw emotion.
it was something else to find out that he had that. He's going out with that legendary status.
I mean, when you think about it, he went to 2 Super Bowls. That's pretty amazing right there. And like I said, even Aaron Rodgers has only been to 1. Mm-hmm. So when you think of some of the great quarterbacks that are playing right now, besides Tom Brady, Patriot fans don't write in. Besides, because I know you're sitting there with all the fingers up. I know you are. Just sit right there.
No, there's 2 missing. Wait a minute.
Let's not forget
he would
that.
have 8. He would have 8 if it wasn't for Eli
And
Manning.
thank God for Eli for stopping that from
And
happening.
Eli was both. He was.
Eli was both of them.
He made.
He was MVP for both of them.
MVP.
Yes.
That staples it even more.
To me, that it does. I mean, Eli is just 366 touchdowns. I mean, there's just so much for Eli, but I think it's also the way Eli has handled himself.
Yeah. How cool was it that Eli did? That Brady said that about Eli. That
You
as
really
much
want me
as
to go there?
I respect you and all, but you would have 8.
But I like
I'd have
Eli's
8
retort.
rings if you didn't.
All right, let's get this Tom Brady quote
sucked
out of
at
the way.
him.
This Twitter. What he said was, "Congratulations on your retirement and a great career at your life. Not gonna lie though, I wish you hadn't won any Super Bowls."
Right.
Okay, but Eli's retort is the best. "We joke around about this, but it's not real funny to him," meaning Brady. And I just think that was the best because it's like, we joke around about it, but it's not real funny to him. And it was just the way Eli said it, like, shucks. Just that Eli way of like, but I feel some empathy for him. No, Eli, we don't. No, we really don't.
Well, but from what I understand about Eli now is the way he handles joking and whatnot.
Oh, Eli was a practical joker.
He was funny to guys because he had a humor, and I like that. I like when you can mix humor in with everything.
No, I don't think Eli had any humor in that. I think he was really like,
No.
aw. No, I hate Tom Brady. I'm sorry. If Jerry Jones is Satan's lapdog, then on Jerry Jones's lap on Satan is Tom Brady. He's the cat that Jerry Jones is stroking. No, I don't. Patriot fans, take it. I don't give a shit. No.
All right. So did we cover everything? I mean let's go through Eli's.
Eli had everything.
Stats here. Only player franchise history, 16 seasons. Never hurt. Never.
Eli was hurt,
Except for
but he
that
played
one-
hurt.
He played
hurt. He
Yeah.
had plantar fasciitis at one point. There was a shoulder injury. Eli, it did not matter. He said there were times where he didn't play until that Friday before a game.
Yeah. He
said,
broke the Giants record of starts and games played.
Let's not get into the Ben McAdoo screw up with Geno Smith.
What's that?
McAdoo took him out to start Geno Smith, and that's what broke
Oh, I
his
remember.
streak.
Yeah, but that's.
But that we don't. None of us count that.
Yeah, I mean
that's
that
just bullshit. I mean, MVP.
Yeah, I don't know
for
what he
2
was
Super
thinking there.
Bowls. You know.
That just blows me away. It's just a stupid move. Percentage, completion percentage.
60%. You know, I mean, but that brings you back to Eli being generous. Eli didn't care about his interceptions. If he thought there was a chance you were going to score, he took it. He never cared about the interceptions.
I always still, to this day, am blown away that he threw that pass to Tyree.
Oh, that was just,
he
scrambled
this
out.
day, when he was sacked.
mobile.
I mean, to me, he was sacked. He was going down.
He was going down.
And he throws that pass, and that goes back to what you just said.
He was generous.
He took the chance.
Oh, he always took. Eli always took the chance.
What a throw. And to put it where it had
wobbly.
to be. It was
That
wobbly.
ball was
It was a duck.
wobbly
It was
ball.
definitely a duck.
That was, I was like, oh, this thing's getting intercepted. Oh my
my God.
gosh,
Yeah,
it's getting intercepted. I mean, but
To have Tyree jump that high and for it to land the way it did and catch it on his, helmet, and then to come all the way down from that height with the impact and still have it and make that catch, you lose the Super Bowl. You don't make that
Eli
catch.
trusted his wide receivers, though. He trusted all his guys, and I think that was a big thing for Eli, is that he always showed he was in trust. I think he put it best in his farewell speech when he said, I was not a rah-rah guy. I was not a guy to yell and pull face masks. And as much as the fan is, sometimes you wanted him to be like that, because you'd want him, like when a guy would miss it, or when Eli would throw the ball and you were like, why was it intercepted? Because there were times where it was not Eli's fault. Mm-hmm. Especially with shocking.
They didn't run their
There were times, and you want him to just go up and grab him by the face mask. But Eli didn't. He was just like, he was Opie. I called him Opie because he just, Opie Cunningham. Ah, gee shucks, You were just like, come on, Eli. And he didn't do it. You were, but that's how he gained respect.
So to that point, I'm a believer. I think that, in my opinion, when Brady won that 6th ring after this year, you are the best. You got everything. What are you going to prove? Come back and beat your body up and hope that your teammates. You don't have Gronk.
Gronk was a big weapon for him.
That was a weapon. It's a weapon. A long target, tall target, diving target. So what are you going to come back and do at that age? But Eli went out 38 healthy with his stats. And I think it makes a lot more love for him. It did for me. That he didn't just have to be a head case and come back and prove something or go to another team.
No, I would hate to. I couldn't have seen Eli in another
No,
jersey.
but
That would have killed me.
a lot of people couldn't see Peyton on another team, and he went out with a Super Bowl.
Peyton was but I always believe Peyton was a different type of competitor. Eli,
Absolutely.
Like I said, Eli is the epitome of the song, I did it my way.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
is just Eli. I mean, you grew to love and respect Eli for who he was. He came into New York, and he was not a typical he's not a Namath. He's not like that personality.
No.
Eli came in and in a way had to change New York media to follow him, because Eli never threw a wide receiver under the bus. He never threw a teammate under the bus. Nothing. He said what he needed to say, and you could always, when you watched Eli at a press conference, it was always, well, we got to get back to playing good football. It was the same soundbite every time, but you learned to respect Eli for that, and it was the same glazed over look on his face. I mean, mouth half open, watching football. I mean, that was what he was on the sideline. But after a while, that composure and calmness in the storm, as a fan, you eventually looked for, because when you were down, I mean, there were times we were down 7, full touchdown, and it was like 5 minutes left, but you looked for that look on the sideline, because you were like, well, now he's about to take it down and we'll win this. And he usually did.
Yeah.
And you were like, holy shit, we won.
Right.
And it was because of Eli and that calm composure. So I learned to appreciate Eli. And as he said, he said in his speech, New York fans, you're unique, but I love you for it. And I think we eventually came around to him. And now I have to say, I'm going to miss the Opie look on the sidelines, because I kind of want that Opie look back, because it was just standard.
Well, it's a new, it's a young young man's game at this point with the young guys coming in and they got to staple themselves. Eli did it right. He went out a legend, and I think that's commemorable.
I'm gonna
I like
miss
your
Eli.
jersey, by the way. I like
This
your
was I
Eli
actually
jersey.
got this one before he announced his retirement. They did some limited edition ones.
Very nice.
And I was like, I think he's gonna. I was pretty sure he was gonna retire,
Yeah.
especially after that Dolphins game, and the way he went out. And when his lips started trembling, I'm like, he's out.
Yeah.
He was out.
Yeah.
But I think once again he went out so
I got my
classy.
Phil Simms on.
I see that, and you know what? I can appreciate Sims, especially after wearing the Taylor jersey. LT and Sims,
And
I can
Sims.
appreciate. Now I just need my Bavaro jersey, which one of my cousins took, and I got to get back from them. Then we'll be all set.
All right, let's wrap this up. I think we covered enough.
Yes, I
You've
think we
said
got
enough. You've gotten it out. I think you like to get it out, and
it all. We should get all of
I wanna-
Eli's commercials
yeah.
and put that down. Do a little Eli wrap up one of these days of his good commercials.
Yeah, I'd like to
His
also
Dirty
get.
Dancing commercial was the best with
Yeah.
OBJ.
I'd like to get some of what I heard, some more stories about how he used to do stuff to the other players' gloves.
Sean
and
O'Hara, he
how
parked his Hummer on the 50-yard line
He did things
during
that
OTAs and left it there while he was interviewing.
with his humor. Yeah, I think that's very cool. A
Yeah.
competitor like that, getting along with his teammates that way. All right, so we're going to wrap this episode for the
Got it.
Gloves Off podcast. Tough Talk by Dani. I want to
definitely
thank you,
tough.
Mike, Absolute Motion and Video Services, for all you do. And great job production supervising this. And we'll pick it up next time.